All right, everyone. Welcome to All In for Five-Star Chapter in 2022. My name is Blake Ellis. I'm our Chief Engagement Officer at Phi Theta Kappa. We are so thankful that you've taken some time to join us today. Love that little banner that you got there, Patty. I've been sounding out words and learning phonics with my 4-year-old. So I'm sounding that out and I see welcome, welcome, and always trying to remember not to do the words from memorization, but to really sound it out. So we are so happy that y'all are here joining us, whether you are a chapter advisor, whether you are a chapter leader, an officer. Maybe you're at a chapter that for years has been a 5-star chapter. Maybe you're at a chapter where you say, look, we've never really done this, but we want to just get started and see if we can become a 5-star chapter. I promise you that it is possible. And I want to let you know that you have an entire team of support. At all of Phi Theta Kappa, we're all over, but especially here with our student engagement team to support you. So thanks for taking the time to be here. We appreciate you. We appreciate the work that you do. And I want to just, really, introduce our student engagement team, but I want to just remind you of something that I'm always mindful of when we talk about the work that Phi Theta Kappa chapters do in your colleges and at your institutions. So to be a 5-star chapter, I think you know, but if you don't know, you're going to learn. The big 2 projects you got to do are College Project and Honors in Action. And these projects are doable. You don't have to do the top project to be 5-star chapter. You just have to do it. And we want to recognize you for that. But as you work on College Project and Honors in Action, inevitably, you'll need to ask for volunteers. You'll need to get people to come to meetings. You'll need people to respond to email. And it can sometimes feel, a little frustrating to ask people for things. But I want to remind you of something that I heard from the great organizer, Dolores Huerta, many, many years ago. She said, never forget that when you ask someone to volunteer, you are doing them a favor because they will then become empowered leaders who can ask others to volunteer. So I want to ask you today, as you hear about some of the programs we have, to be courageous and to think outside the box and to consider that you might be able to be a 5-star chapter, even if it's not something that you've had at your institution previously. And I promise you that if you do, we'll be there to celebrate with you, both at our annual convention, at regional conventions, virtually on all our social media channels. But having said that, I want to introduce our student engagement team. Some of us are here today, some of us aren't, but all of us are available to support you in every way as you move forward in your chapter. We have Susan Edwards, our Associate VP of Honors Programs and Undergraduate Research. She is traveling because she's with the Mississippi, Louisiana region at their regional event. Talked to her yesterday. They were going to visit an aquarium to explore the art and science of play, which is our honors study topic. And so having a great time over there. We have Jennifer Stanford, who's our Associate VP of Program Implementation. Jennifer, can you wave? I see you. There you are. Jennifer is one of the most knowledgeable student success professionals you could ever meet. She loves Phi Theta Kappa advisors. She loves Phi Theta Kappa members. She herself is a former community college student and a PTK member, and has been working to develop many of these programs over the years. So you want to get to know her. We also have Reagan Chastain, our curriculum designer. She's out on vacation, a much deserved vacation, I will say. But Reagan works with all of our PTK Edge courses, whether it's Healthcare Edge, Transfer Edge, Competitive Edge. But Reagan says to say hello, and she's there to support you. And then the person you probably will most want to get to know, Patty Van Adder. She's our chapter outreach and development coordinator, and she runs these support sessions, both for advisors and for chapter leaders. And she keeps me in line, which is like a pretty full-time job. But I want to tell you, Patty knows this organization as a member, as an alumnus, as a regional coordinator, as a board member, former board member, and now as a staff member. There's not much that happens in Phi Theta Kappa that Patty doesn't know about, but Patty's also a person who knows what it's like to build from the ground up at the chapter level and at the regional level. And she is someone who can coach and cheer you on to do the college project, to do the honors and action project. And because of her work and because of your work, I believe that we're going to be celebrating lots of 5-star chapters next year. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for the work that you do. Thanks to Patty for putting this on. But I'm going to turn it over now to Patty Van Adder. And thank y'all. By the way, we're very informal here. So if you have coffee, feel free to drink, grab your snacks. This is like a learning session. But whatever you need, we're here to support you. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Blake. Appreciate you. I'm actually going to turn it over to Jennifer to start the program today.
All right. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Sorry,
Really
Jennifer.
appreciate.
You see, I got that wrong. See, Patty has to keep me out. I turned it over to the wrong person. So that's another lesson. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just keep right on going. But sorry, Jennifer.
No, that is totally fine. And you're right, Blake. Patty keeps all of us in order. So for these chapter leader sessions, we really are about answering your questions. And so don't hesitate to put those in the chat. We're going to be watching for them, and we can incorporate answers as we go through the PowerPoint so that you don't have to wait till the very end to get your answer. But we want to start out, we are talking about our 5-star chapter plan today. But before we dive into that more specifically, we want to zoom out and talk about critical success factors. Some of you, especially chapter advisors, may be familiar with these. It's similar to in business, how they talk about key performance indicators. But the difference here is that a critical success factor is usually more of a higher level policy or concept that you're trying to establish, very foundational to the success that you're going to be working on towards your 5-star goal, conducting a college project, honors in action, all those things. So to give you an example, and Patty, you can move to the next slide if you'd like. But to give you an example, a critical success factor for your college may be to make sure that there's at least one chapter advisor who's dynamic, student success champion, and has the support that they need to lead the chapter. For a college project, for example, you're going to certainly have a different objective every year with your chapter's college project, but a critical success factor for those would be that you always want to have a positive, mutually respectful relationship between the chapter and the college. So that's going to be your foundation that you're going to build upon to do an outstanding college project. So the list could go on and on, but it's basically helping everyone to understand that these are the most important things. This is the why your chapter is doing these activities, helps everybody to, have that framework, be respectful of the process and each other as they work towards some really important goals that are not just for the chapter, but for them to grow personally and professionally on an individual level as well. All right, so the next one, again, this critical success factor framework really has the 5-star chapter plan in mind. And so those foundational activities are built into this. It's a roadmap for you to use to get engaged in Phi Theta Kappa. Every level is important. We want your chapter to know that chapters go from completely inactive to 5-star every year. That is something that is doable. It is a lofty goal, but it's definitely a realistic goal. And so we want you to understand that we're here to support you through that. And then to also understand just some logistics of that the 5 levels of engagement, those activities can be done anytime during the calendar year. So some of you may already be able to have checked off several items and multiple levels of the 5-star plan, and that's great. But if you haven't, know that there are many chapters that they don't get started until the summer or even the early fall. So it is not too late to be a 5-star chapter. And then one of the best things about it is that it's non-competitive. Our Hallmark Awards program, that's very competitive. That is truly the best of the best that are recognized in Hallmark Awards. But you're only competing with yourselves in 5-star to meet those requirements. And so you'll be rewarded for whatever level your chapter achieves. Even if it is below the goal that you set for yourself, you're still going to get recognized. So you can only win in the 5-star plan. All right, next slide. Okay, and one of the great things about it is that many college administrators, especially presidents, are well aware of Phi Theta Kappa's 5-star plan. They use it as a barometer to gauge the level of their own chapters, and may even be very much expecting your chapter to be at the highest level. And so part of that is, and we're going to talk about this, there are several things that will help build that administrative support, including that college project that I just mentioned. But again, all of this is helping strengthen that relationship that your chapter has with the college, and then giving students what they join Phi Theta Kappa for, and that's to gain a competitive edge and to be recognized as scholars and leaders. Okay, so 5-star plan is easy to participate in. We want you to know that we default everyone back to a 1-star goal, but we ask you to update that to whatever goal you've set this year. Go ahead and put in a 5. We know that's why you're here, right? If you're here, you're probably going to be a 5-star chapter. Headquarters is going to check off a lot of those activities, but there are some that you need to check off. And do it as you go. So if you go to a regional meeting this summer or early fall, log in. You see that on your screen. There's that report your progress button right there. Yes, thank you. Patty is highlighting it with the browser, and it's at ptk.org/5-star. You see that button, report your progress, on that page, and you can, once you're logged in, it's going to bring up your exact chapter, and you check off instead of just this generic form, everything that's already been done is going to show up as checked off. So you've got January through December to be completing activities in the 5-star plan, but we give everyone till late January to make the final checks off, so that we are recognizing your chapter for what you've actually achieved. And so that final deadline is January 20th, but know that you can go in and report any time of the year. Okay, so we have another resource, and I'm going to turn it back over to Patty to talk about this one.
Yeah, I love this. Is one of my favorite resources, especially for new chapter advisors and our chapter officers and leaders at each of the chapters. It's the activity guide for chapter leaders. I wish I say this all the time, and I will keep saying it. I wish it was in existence when I was an advisor many years ago, because one of the things that you hear, well, we're going to look at level 1 of the 5-star plan, and one of them might, in the 5-star, in level 1, it talks about a recruitment campaign. Well, how do I do a recruitment campaign? Well, this is how you do it now. You go to the activities guide for chapter leaders, and there's all sorts of resources. It can be downloaded and printed. You can access it through the portal, as you can see there. And it actually mirrors the 5-star chapter plan. So level 1 being recognizing students and growing your chapter. If you need ideas on how to do that PTK awareness campaign, or how to do an induction ceremony, or any of those things, you could go to level 1 of the activity guide for chapter leaders. Now, there are activities in it, and I'll show you some in a little while, but they can be modified to your campus, your colleges, what it is. You don't have to follow it the way that is written in the guide, and you can modify it in any manner that you'd like. Level 2, it's all about organizing leaders and engaging members. Okay, so now I have all these members. What do we do next, right? How do I get them motivated to engage in the chapter, and how do we hold a chapter meeting, right? So there are examples of that in level 2. Connecting regionally, it's the 3rd level. How do I connect with my region? Do I know what my region is, right? So you'll have plenty of activities there. And then the resource guide for levels 4 and 5 are just huge. They're just outstanding activities in there for you to get started on a college project and building your administrative support, and also how to get started on an honors and action project. There are really great ways, like the one for college project. It talks about, thinking about building a house, right? You need all of these different parts, and how do they go in, and it walks you through doing that. And so it's really a great resource, and I encourage everybody to take a look at it at portal.ptk/activity guide. Use it, and if you need additional assistance beyond what's in the guide, of course, you can definitely reach out to us, and we are more than happy to help you. But a great resource for chapter officers to use. So I'm going to go over the next few levels. We're going to start with level 1, right? And level 1 is all about recognizing academic excellence and building chapter foundations. This is the 1-star level in the 5-star plan, and there are requirements. So when you go in to update your progress, you will see the requirements for each level. They are also listed on the posters. All the advisors should have received a poster in the mail, but you can find the poster on the website as well. And it's all as you'll see here, as you see here, you'll see the requirements. Organize at least one membership recruitment campaign. And so for the majority of chapters that are probably on, or we'll see this later, have already done that in the spring, right? Right now we're in the summer recruitment, and that would be the 2nd. And then the fall recruitment, which begins in September, is the 3rd. So we're asking you in the 1-star level to at least do that one membership campaign. Also show evidence of a recruitment campaign. Well, how do I do that, right? What is a recruitment campaign? Well, it's either creating PTK awareness on campus, recruiting effectively, and planning the induction, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Submitting the chapter annual report is an advisor function. The chapter annual report for this year was emailed earlier this year. It was due in April 1st. It was sent to all contact advisors. It's just a quick 15-minute report that needs to be processed, and it's done. And once we receive it, you're credited automatically for it in your progress updates. And so if you're not too sure about that, you can always go in and check your where you are in the history to see how much if you've been credited for completing the report. And reviewing your chapter bylaws, right? Not every year do chapters want to make changes to their bylaws, and so just as long as you're aware of them and that we have them on file, and again, that's something that we mark off. If we don't have your bylaws, we'll definitely reach out to you to see. So all on the 1-star level, and we talked about membership recruitment, right? And using that activities guide, right, to build a membership recruitment campaign. Maybe it's doing an awareness week, right? Phi Theta Kappa is planning on holding an awareness week in the fall, but maybe you can't do it that specific week as the rest of the society is doing. You could do it on your own. What are some of the activities you can do about increasing awareness of Phi Theta Kappa on your campus? Is it participating in those table events, or, welcome back days, and your chapter members are there and sharing the benefits of membership and why they should get involved and why they should accept membership, right? Sharing what you've done as a chapter with your college administration as well, so that they're aware. And also the faculty, right? Everybody at the college should know what Phi Theta Kappa is. Identifying your eligible students, and that's done through working with your IT department or your college's registrar to see what students are now eligible to be invited to Phi Theta Kappa, and sitting down as a chapter officer team, or as a chapter, talking about a recruitment plan. How are we going to reach out to those who have been invited to Phi Theta Kappa to accept it? Is it with the orientation program that you have, or maybe you invite them to a chapter meeting so they can learn more about the benefits of membership? Making sure your eligible students join, right? The enrollment period for the fall runs from September to December, so they have all of that time for you to reach out and maybe email them directly to say, look, you have this invitation. How can I help you accept membership, right? What questions do you have that I can help you with? And that induction ceremony, right? Though it's really nice to have an induction ceremony in the spring and in the fall. Most colleges only do one, and it covers both all 3 enrollment periods for the year. But honestly, I think as an advisor, that's one of the things that I miss the most about not being at a chapter is the induction ceremony, because you get to, as an employee of the college, a lot of these student stories, and then just see them accept membership, and and their families are there to celebrate, and the college is there to celebrate. It's one of the most best things about Phi Theta Kappa is the induction ceremony, and so Those are the parts of the membership recruitment campaign, and those are the things that we ask chapter officers and leaders, to take a look at, so that, more students know about the benefits of membership and accept it. And so where do we go, right? Here's that activities guide activity on how to create that awareness on campus. And as you can see, it gives you some pointers, the learning outcomes and the materials that you'll need. And remember what I said, you can modify this. This doesn't have to be done step by step and word for word. But this is something that you can look at as you are planning your awareness in the fall, to use as a guide to get you there, right? It's nothing that well, where do we begin? This is where you begin. And we hope that you will take a look at that. The 2-star level in the 5-star chapter plan is all about organizing your chapter leadership and engaging your members, right? And for a lot of you that are with us today, you are probably were just installed as the officer for 2022, 2023. So congratulations. We are glad that you are here. Now it's your turn to get the rest of your chapter to engage in with everything that you're doing. And the first thing that you do is set your 5-star goal, right? And I like what Jennifer said earlier, if you're a chapter officer or an advisor, you will have the ability to go in and report your progress and set your goal. I encourage everybody, regardless of what your history is or what you think or can't, just do 5, right? Because you will receive enough support from Phi Theta Kappa from us to get you to the finish line for the remainder of the year. So set those goals. And under the 2-star level, you need to have 2 membership recruitment campaigns. So remember, spring, summer, spring, fall, however your chapter wants to do it, and then report new officers. And this is really important, right? So if your chapter has held an election, or if the advisor is doing interviews and appointing officers to be the leaders for the chapter, we need you to report them to Phi Theta Kappa so that we have a way to contact them as well. And so that they are eligible for recognition when appropriate at the end of the year, that we have their information. So it's really important to get to that too. And so far, I think a lot of us on this meeting will probably can say, you know what, we've done that. I've reported my officers. We've set our goal. We're going to have 2. So we're pretty much definitely done it too. And then if you need some activities on how to run a chapter meeting, or team leadership building, right, or leadership development for the officers, there's activities in the guide for you that you can use. I personally love the Develop Your Leadership Philosophy activity. It ties into the Phi Theta Kappa's Leadership Development Program series. And if you take a look at that, it provides a good, I think we all need to know what our leadership philosophy is. It also changes. So if you've done something like this before, you would want to do this again, because your leadership philosophy changes as you experience more and more in life. So definitely a great activity for officers to do, and also to invite chapter members to do it as well. Create a Member of the Month program. I think that's the one activity in the guide that I really love, right? You want to spotlight members that participate in activities, whether it's that person that, sets up the table for the table events, or is at welcome days, or, always contributes to the chapter, and share that information and share what they've done, whether it's on the college's LMS system or in some sort of way to give them recognition. It also builds awareness, right? It gives them the recognition that they deserved. They don't have to be in a leadership position to be recognized. And it's just a good practice. So take a look at that Create a Member of the Month program. The 3-star level of the 5-star plan is all about organizing chapter leadership and and engaging members, right? Is that how that is? It's all about regional. That didn't sound right. I have to get. It's actually all about regional engagement, right? My favorite thing is definitely, as a chapter advisor, one of the highlights of any of our events was being able to get in touch with our region, engage in any kind of regional events, whether it was the summer learning or the fall leaderships. for a number of reasons, right? You get to meet more people. Your networking increases, right? As advisors, you get to meet with other new advisors or advisors that have been around a while and learn from them. And we have 29 outstanding regional coordinators in Phi Theta Kappa that provide outstanding, excellent regional programming, right, for you to engage with. And so regional engagement, we ask that you attend at least one regional event or contribute to one regional activity. So some of you probably or will attend a regional event in the summer, and you'll just go in and check that off. And then there's some other ways that you can do that, whether you campaign for regional office, take a leadership role at a regional meeting, and that can be done. Well, like we have a great example of a good college project that we would like to share, or we have a great example of how to do a recruitment campaign that we would like to share with our fellow chapters in the region. Just get connected to your regional coordinator to be able to do that. Most regions all have regional projects that chapters can engage with. Collaborate with another chapter, one maybe that's close to you, or your sister chapter if you have more than one chapter at a college, or if the advisor serves on the regional advisory board, right? So what your takeaway here is, go to one regional event and contribute to at least one regional activity, and that's it. That's the third level of the 5-star plan. And there are ways for you to find additional, how to find out what region you're from and who your regional coordinator is through the resource guide. And so now I'm going to take a mouthful of water and say, Jennifer, it's all yours.
Thank you, Patty. I know that is a lot, but it's all foundational for Phi Theta Kappa chapter success. And so 4-star level is, there are 2 activities here. And we want to emphasize also that these activities within all 5 levels of the 5-star plan can be done simultaneously. So in other words, you're not going to do all of 1-star and then move to 2-star, and then only when you finish 2-star move to 3-star. You're working on them many of them at the same time. And so a perfect example of that is at the 4-star level, your chapter will do a college project, but this is something that, you can do. Some chapters complete their college project completely in the spring, and then that leaves the rest of the year, summer included, to focus on their honors and action project. Now, some chapters will do both of those projects at the same time. So that really is up to your chapter. But the goal of the college project is, again, to strengthen, or for some of you, develop the relationship that the chapter has with the college administration. So it's that opportunity for the chapter, knowing how much they need administrative support in so many ways. A chapter serves or is existing on a campus at the pleasure of the administration. So it really is not hyperbole to say that a chapter owes their existence to the college administration. And so this is a way for the chapter leaders to offer their support, their help in the college's mission, what their strategic priorities are. Many times students make, especially outstanding students like Phi Theta Kappa members, are highly sought after to lend a student's viewpoint, a student's role in the life of a college. And so if you have that in mind, that this is not just the chapter operating unilaterally to do some kind of service project for the college, but that it really is a joint project between the chapter and the college, and that might be with certain departments of the college campus, or it may be just one department of the college campus. It's going to look differently at every college because it's based on what is a priority for your college at this moment in time. And so that is the biggest part of the 4-star level. And then this also gets you into participating in our homework awards program. And Anna, that just popped up, so I want to go ahead and answer that. Anna had a question in the chat about, can I give some examples of past college projects? Yes, absolutely. So some of them, especially for last year, we had several chapters, well, more than just several, but quite a few chapters, do something on mental health. either making awareness known, better awareness known to the college's own counseling services or other support services for students to help with their mental health. And we've seen other chapters that focused on physical health, hosting health fairs or bringing in speakers to address certain topics on health. We've seen career fairs. We've seen chapters that are working alongside their administration to really provide more peer mentors and tutors for students. And so that's, working towards the college's goal of retaining and helping students complete their credential at the college. So any project is in order as long as it relates to a specific goal of the college. We say college mission, and we know sometimes the mission statement is very broad for community colleges, especially because they serve so many different audiences. But the real, I think the biggest help is to really zero in on what the strategic priorities are for the college, what their specific goals are, so that you can really see where the chapter would fit in. And while it's great to do, some homework on that and have some ideas in your back pocket, it's really important to give the college administration, preferably the president or CEO, that opportunity to share their ideas first about what ways they'd like to see the chapter help with. So Patty, I think you can go ahead and skip to the next slide. So this is on the college project in that activity guide. We want you to know just this is one activity that kind of gives an analogy of on a college project and as being similar to building a house. And so there are other activities that help you decide who your collaborators will be. Again, it's not just the college, personnel, staff, faculty, other administrators, but it can also be a community partner. It could be other student organizations on campus. So we have an article or an activity that helps with that. So again, the 5-star plan tells you what to do to reach the 5-star level, but the activity guide tells you how to go about doing that activity. So we hope that you take advantage of both because they really are meant to complement each other. So the other level or the other activity in the 4-star level, sorry, I'm going to backtrack to this, the Hallmark Awards participation. So we know that chapters, especially at that 4 and 5-star level, they're going to have very active advisors, active members, and chapter officers, and they're going to have done at least the college project. And so a big part of that is the reflection piece, and that's writing it up for a Hallmark Award. And at the 4-star level, you're required to enter at least one Hallmark Award category. But the good news is with our Hallmark Awards program is that with one entry, you're actually entering for recognition on both the regional and the international level of Phi Theta Kappa. So you don't have to enter, separate categories or separate entries to be recognized at both conventions. And so we want you to do at least one category at that 4-star level. And then we bump up to the 5-star level. That's the pinnacle level in the 5-star plan. Patty, you can go, oh, there you go. And that's, as we said, where your chapter is completing an honors in action project. And this project really does bring together all of Phi Theta Kappa's hallmarks, starting with scholarship, meaning that academic component. So you're doing research into what our current honor study topic is, the art and science of play. And then you're analyzing that research and then taking a leadership role by coming up with an action plan to address whatever issue you've studied that relates to the honor study topic. So it's very much a problem solving, a real world problem that the chapter is taking a leadership and understanding how they can play a role in making a difference for their campus, for their community. The world at large is not overstating it. And so we do feel like that this is our most comprehensive project. And because of that, we have a lot of resources to guide you through that honors in action process. It doesn't have to be, Patty, I love this quote. It doesn't have to be a Nobel Prize winning project in order to be a good honors in action project. You can still make a difference at whatever level, the scope that your chapter is most comfortable with. Just going through the steps of an honors in action project is rewarding. And one of the resources that can help with that is our Research Edge course. And that's available to advisors as well as chapter officers and members at getandedge.ptk.org. And yes, as Patty said, we're going to be doing a deep dive on honors in action in August during these online sessions. And we're going to do a deep dive on college project next month in July. So you do the honors in action project. And so at the 5-star level, you'll have a college project, an honors in action project that we want you to write up. No matter what level of success you think it's achieved, we want the chapter to go ahead and write up that entry, get some great transferable soft skills under the belt of your students. And then also, not only you're submitting both the honors in action and college project, but you're also going to choose at least one individual for whom to nominate. And so that can be an advisor, a chapter officer, or a member. It can be a college administrator or even a PTK alum. So there are many categories in the Homework Awards program. And so you're only required to submit in at least 3 of those. And then the international activity. Well, certainly you could argue that all of these things relate to the international level of PTK, but we want to make sure that, in particular for this requirement, that the other benefits of membership are well known and are well promoted in your chapter. And that includes those PTK Edge courses. I just mentioned one, Research Edge. But we have several others, including one on transferring, one on competitive edge, which is about all soft skills. We have one on employment edge to help students prepare for job interviews and writing resumes and all the things that go along with a career. And then we have the leadership development studies course. And Patty mentioned this earlier that we have a couple of activities in our activity guide that is based on Phi Theta Kappa's very own leadership development studies course. And so those are available. That's part of Phi Theta Kappa membership. These are free to members, advisors as well. And we want, for if you're not able to attend PTK Catalyst, which is Phi Theta Kappa's spring annual convention, then you have these other opportunities, having at least 3 members complete at least one unit, not even the entire course, but just one unit of a PTK Edge course or leadership course. Or you can submit an entry in our honors case study challenge. And that's based on the honors study topic as well. Gives an opportunity for a chapter to do research about the honor study topic by looking at news sources. So online newspapers as well as GASP print newspapers. So that is part of the case study challenge, and there are scholarship rewards for those top entries. Okay, so we have thrown a lot at you with the different levels. Again, Patty, I know that there's I think I've already mentioned this on the next slide, that there are in the activities guide that can help students work through, the brainstorming aspect. There's an honor study topic with 7 different themes. So how do they choose just one? All of those important steps are also part of Research Edge, but it's also part of the activity guide. So it really breaks it down for them. Mm-hmm. All right. And so we've talked about the activities guide, and I think I'm turning it back over to you, Patty, to talk about the advisor plan.
We are, I'm going to talk about the advisor plan for advisors who have not yet had a chance to take a look at the advisor education curriculum. It's online, it's self-paced, there's 5 levels. I promise you it will give you a good foundation to what all of this is, everything that we talked about today. You can find it at fivestaradvisor.ptk.org, and we'll put that in the chat as well. It's again another tool that I wish was around many years ago. Even if you're just trying to figure out the lingo, you hear HIA and CP and all of this. It's just a great resource for you to build your foundation on, along with all of the sessions that we do. And I can't emphasize enough the use of the activity guide for chapter leaders. Advisors are more than welcome to use that. And so those are the resources, along with everybody on the student engagement team. We are here to answer your questions and help you, figure out what you want to do or figure out a plan for you. All you need to do is just get in touch with us. For membership questions, I know we talked a lot about, uploading files and enrollment periods and awareness weeks and things like that. We have a membership department that handles that, and as you'll see, we have 4 outstanding staff members who represent each division. So you would only need to know, the division that you're in, and you'd be able to contact your membership divisional specialist, and they will be able to help you upload the file, get those invitations out, provide you with reports if you need it. Also, they are the person that can help you with bylaws. If you need a copy of your chapter's bylaws, they are there to support you every step of the way as it relates to membership. And I encourage you to reach out to them for that. And then if you have any questions about, building your chapter, or, the different functions of a chapter, or how to get started, please feel free to reach out to me. I have virtual office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If they don't work out for you, we can set it up at a time that works with you. I have met with chapter officer teams, so whatever works for you. If you would like some more in-depth support with any of the programs that we talked about today, just email me and I will get right back to you. And I have put down there questions, but I'm going to stop sharing. Did we have a question in the
Patty, I was answering one, and it doesn't have the name. It just it comes through as iPhone, but I wanted to just reiterate to everyone. This person was asking about the chapter's bylaws. And so they wanted to see, some examples of bylaws. And we want you to know that chances are your chapter has a set of bylaws that are approved and on file at headquarters. And so we're happy if you want to email me or Patty, we can get that version to you in case it's been lost to history for your chapter. But of course, there are, sometimes your chapter is going to need a review or update to the bylaws, and that certainly is spelled out in your chapter's bylaws, which is why we want to make sure we give you the latest version that's on file at headquarters. But that is strictly for that basic governance of your chapter. It's mainly things like what your eligibility GPA and hourly requirement is for members and things like that. We want you to have other documents, handbooks maybe that give more details about chapter officer responsibilities, things that are more likely to change. It's best to keep out of the chapter bylaws. But again, feel free to email me or Patty, and we can get chapter bylaws to you. I think, let me see. I think we answered everything. I know that we have a question about the URL or the website address for Get an Edge, where all of our PTK Edge courses are. So again, that is in the chat. And it really is, again, we really can't stress this enough. If you are brand new to Phi Theta Kappa, whether you're an officer or an advisor, really can't stress enough going through Research Edge. It's only 3 units. It doesn't take long to go through it. It's not a course that, takes place over a semester. It truly is self-paced, and many people go through it, even, just sitting down over a day or two can go through Research Edge. And it gives you a great foundation, and also gives you some good foundational principles about just doing academic research. And so for whatever reason, if you just want a refresher on that, or to, really dive into the steps of an honors in action project, it's great. It's a great resource for that. Monica just asked, how do I report recruitment events? Is there a list of all the things that needs to be reported for credit? Patty, do you want me to take this one, or you, or?
No, you can. That's fine.
Oh, okay. All right. So Monica, good news. We list all the best practices that outline that Patty went over in the PowerPoint slide. That is a best practice for a recruitment campaign. However, we will check off that requirement for your chapter once members have been reported to headquarters. And so the only thing that you need to be doing is, as an advisor, the chapter sets up that recruitment campaign, the enrollment period.
Enrollment file.
Thank you, the enrollment file. And so once you've done that, and there have been at least a few members reported, then that's going to count as one membership campaign. And so if you do that in the summer and or fall, that's going to count as your second membership recruitment campaign. And so that will be automatically checked off by headquarters for the chapter.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how that goes. I just wanted to, I know we talked a lot about college. There's so much more to College Project and Honors in Action, and we are going to meet again. Our next advisor session to talk about using the rubric for College Project Success will be on July 13th. We will send you an email when I follow up with you with a link to review this particular session. I will have all those dates in there for you. We will have another chapter advisor and leader session about College Project on July 27th. And new advisors will see you on July 20th. And so all of this information will be in the follow-up that we give. We're going to take a little break. It seems like, June 29th for the new advisor program, we're going to meet as well. So all that information will be included in the update. And so again, if you have any questions between now and then, feel free to reach out to us and we'll gladly get back to you. This has been fun.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, Patty, for us, new advisors means less than 2 years, right?
Less than 2 years, yes. Less than 2 years in the new advisor. And I know some of them have joined us today. They were doing both programs, so I'm really thrilled with that. So thank you. And the other thing is we have a goal. We really want to start bragging about all these chapters setting 5-star goals. So if you have the ability to do that this week or before the 4th of July, before you check out for a little break, please set your 5-star goal. It helps us help you once you set that goal. So I'm challenging all the chapter leaders here. Set your goal. Set your goal before the 4th of July, and we'll be on a great pace for an outstanding year. You're welcome, Maria. Shout out to the Missouri region. I know there's quite a bit in the Missouri region in here. Thanks for coming today. Yeah. All righty. If there isn't anything else, we'll see you all next session. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.